technique video, I'm going to show you how to do these beautiful watercolour sort of techniques on an embossing folder. So if you look close, it does look as if you've got watercoloured flowers on this sort of light brown background. It is relatively easy to do, and all you need are some ink pads. So I'm using here, which is the JND494 3D embossing folder. I'm just using some white card. I've got a water brush, and you need some fusion inks or similar inks that are water-based that you can colour with. So I'm using the pearl yellow, the gold lime, the gold apple, and the gold berry colours. So I've got here a piece of card that I have already embossed, and I'm using the deboss edge. So I'm just putting this down to my Crafts 2 multi-use mat, which means it sticks nicely in place, which makes it so easy. And all I'm going to do is take some of the berry ink and squeeze some out onto my actual mat. If you don't have the mat, then you can use something like a glass mat or a plate. Get a little bit of water into my water brush and just pick up the red, and you're going to colour the berries. So you're going to go through and colour each individual berry, not carefully. You don't have to worry about not going over the lines or making a mess. As you can see here, I'm really sort of strongly going over the edges. All I want to do is to make sure all of that is coloured. So this is great if, like me, you're not great at sticking in lines, because for this technique you really don't need to at all. So there's the red. I'm then going to take a little bit of the apple and lay some of that down. And I'm going to take a little bit of the lime and again lay some of that down. So I've got two different tones, and again activate some water and mix from there. And all I'm going to do again is to colour over where the leaves are, picking up each time from sort of different sections of the two colours. So going in just like this. Doesn't matter if we're going over the lines. It doesn't have to be precise. This gives us a really clever look without actually having to be very good at it. So taking the colours just like that and making sure I'm colouring it in. So you'll already see that that is not looking the neatest at all. So on this particular folder, there's also these little sprays of flowers here, and I thought yellow would be the perfect idea. So I'm going to lay down a little bit of the yellow, and again, using my water brush, pick up some of the yellow and just colour all over where those are. Again, not being careful, I'm not trying to dot it in. Selectively, I'm just going over. So you want to continue that, and I would do all of the red, then all of the green, all of the yellow, until you get to this stage. So you can see here, this is not neat, it's not clean, and you could go with that and like it and put a colour wash over the top. But just like that, it's a little bit of a mess. But the magic is when we use the relief technique. So for this, I'm going to use VersaFine in Vintage Sepia. And again, just take the pad and I'm simply going to rub it over the top. And I'll just do this top corner so you can see that suddenly everything meets the line. We've gone from blobby, because we're covering over the flat area and covering any of the colouring. And you can, when you're doing this, if you notice here, I can see some areas that I've perhaps not coloured in, need a little bit more. So there I've actually got a berry I've missed. So once you've covered it over, you can find any areas that you think need a little bit more and give them more colour. And it won't matter because the brown will cover that off. So it gives you time to actually correct your watercolouring. Just like that. And all we would do is continue that, just gently smoothing the VersaFine ink on until you've covered the whole of the piece. And just take a little bit of time, swirling like I'm doing here. Don't press on. And the more solid you get it, honestly, sometimes the less realistic it looks. So let it be a little bit patchy. I always leave it in the centre so it's quite shaded, just like that. And I could stamp a sentiment in there, or I can put a die cut on top, which is what I've done with the original, just like that. But you see there how we've made this beautiful watercoloured look without having to be very skilled.